Hi everybody, this is DJ G. Today we're going to go over the Pioneer DJ controller, the DDJ XP2. Let's get into it and see what this baby could do. Thank you. This is the second version. You know, they've got the Pioneer DDJ XP1. So this is the one that I purchased to go along with my DDJ 1000. Since I upgraded, I got the DDJ, the XDJ XZ, so this goes along nicely with my XZ. So today I'm going to talk about what it could do, what I think it could do, what I've discovered. All right, I read the manuals and everything, but if I'm just trying to share my experience to tell you whether you should get this or not. Right, so if you look at the unit, it's a good size. It's not too big. It's very portable. It's got a lot of nice looking light action going here. Really professional looking. You've got the sampler section happening down here in the pinkish color, and the reddish. Right now I've got it in pad mode 3, which is slicer mode. All right, so let me play some music so then you can hear a little bit about and see a little bit what this unit could do. All right, okay, so like I said, slicer mode. Let's see what slicer mode can do. So it can slice this up. Slicer mode is one of my favorite options on this unit. Oh, and I forgot, yeah. So this unit is both Rekordbox and Serato. Right now I've got it running through Serato, and I like the Serato version a little better than the Rekordbox software. Using the DDJ XP2s, and I'll show you why. And this is one of the reasons why here. So you could slice this up really easily, and Rekordbox doesn't allow slicer on here for whatever reason. Right? Another reason I like the Serato software better with the XP2 is this. I could bring that in and out, but if you notice, all 3 lights, slide effects, are on. That means I'm using 3 effects at once. So with Rekordbox, you can't do that, as far as I know, unless they got a software update, which is possible, because in the instructions for Rekordbox and the XP2, it says that it does have, it will, or not it will, it says it might have it in the future. I think the words say something like, at this time, we don't have it, right? But at this time, Serato does have it. And so if you're using Rekordbox right now, you could do something like this. And that's something I could do on my controller. But with this, yeah, this puppy here. So you have a lot more options, I believe, to play with. And let me show you some more of what the slicer can do on here. So I've got this, got it looped here, but you can also loop it here. So just by pressing shift and the pad button, and it changes color to let you know that it's in loop mode, which is, I think it's great. And the way it looks too, I've got my left side and my right side both playing in slicer, and it looks like a drum machine if you look, and I love that. I used to, I've had many different drum machines and samplers and workstations, and I just like that look. It looks like it's live and in tune to what you're doing, and it looks extra professional when you're DJing at a gig, right? So let me see, and to get out of this, and you can still manipulate it when it's in loop mode, but it'll just keep that little piece, that little, almost like a sample of what you're doing. And then to release it, you just press pad mode again. You can see it changes back to the color that it was before. The other cool thing that the XP2, Pioneer XP2 does is silent. So I can stop the music immediately. and then bring it back, which is great. Now you could do this and bring it back. And you notice I'm not even, oops, forgot to talk. Not even touching the fader or anything. So that's something, because when you're doing a gig and then you've got many things going on, to try and reach out to the fader unless you program it in the utilities in the menu. Well, you can't even do that. No, so it's good to have that right there as an option. Kill your sound and everything. All right. So what else can this thing do? I could start from the beginning with standard processes here. So in pad mode 1, you've got trigger. So I got the sound down. I've got it looping, but so that's standard. You could trigger all these pads here, and down here are your samples. And then to stop it, you hit shift. So I loaded up as many samples as I could in just 2 banks. And remember, I'm using Serato right now with this. So with Serato, you're able to do, according to the manual, 32 sounds. 8 samples with 4 banks. So right now I have 816 samples loaded up, a whole bunch of different ones. Let me loop this again. All right, so it's got a lot of different things. And then the pad mode 2 is your standard. Let's just roll. And you could do this on any controller. Well, I don't know about any controller, but like on the DDJ 1000 that I had before, and the XDJ XZ, you could. Let me take it out of the loop here. All right, so you could do that with most of the controllers out there. But the good thing about this is this gives you that much more landscape territory here to play with. So you could put a whole bunch of different loops and rolls here. All right. And this was the slicer mode. And this mode, I believe, is the transport mode that lets you start, stop, and nudge wherever you want the song to be positioned. All right, so let's see if this guy, I know in record box mode, if you shift and hit these, you'll go to different options. But this one, yeah, you've got the samples here.
Oh, this what we doing here?
Yeah, so the samples worked pretty nicely. Only thing when I first got this unit, I thought, I could use a sampler just to trigger some sound effects or something during a gig. And at first I thought this was a standalone unit, but it is not a standalone unit. You must have your computer with this. You can't take this and plug it into your controller. Nope, it's got to go directly to a computer first, and then into your controller from your computer. So just keep that in mind, because at first I wasn't sure exactly what I could do with this thing, but it is what it is. If you want to bring this around with you and your laptop, you could comfortably fit this in a backpack and along with your computer. Both will fit pretty nicely, so I'm not too mad at that. The only thing I'm mad at is I wish this could really just plug into my XZ, because I got my XZ because it's a standalone, and so now having to bring my laptop and the XP2 in a backpack or however you bring it. Backpack to me is most convenient for as being a mobile DJ. It's up to you. I think it's really cool. It's really colorful, beautiful, solid state. And let's see what else. Let me talk about the gripes. I don't have any gripes with this. So again, right now I've got it running in Serato. If I were using Rekordbox, I use both. When I'm using Rekordbox, you've got pitch and play. It comes with the Rekordbox. Serato does not come with pitch and play. You have to pay extra for that. So the pitch and play on Rekordbox only works with pad mode 1. Whatever you queued. So say I queued this, and then I could pitch and play with this sound, dun, 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 various pitches. So with Serato, you cannot do that. And I feel like that's something that if it had that, that would be an extra step above the game. The only other thing, so that's good you have that on Rekordbox, but the thing with Rekordbox is I wish I had that on my samples. So I wish I had these samples with pitch and play. All right, because then I could sample whatever I want, and then it stops there. But with you doing the hot cues, and you're doing pitch and play, I mean, it's very similar. So it's hard. I hate to, get real finicky about these simple little things. And the truth is, when you're doing a gig, I mean, how often you're going to do that? You're going to annoy the crowd with all your sound effects and all that stuff, and they just want to hear the music. So that's one gripe that's just my little personal gripe that I have there. And the differences between the samples I already talked about. This has got the capability under Serato to have 32 sounds, when under Rekordbox it gives you 64. But how many samples do you really need? Are you doing a production here, and that's different. If you're a producer or something, but then you're not, I don't know if you'll use this. You'll have drum machines and workstations and all that. Although this is really cool to use too. And I used to have the Pioneer sampler, and I got rid of that one because I couldn't really find how I was going to use that in my DJ for gigs and all that. So I thought, let me get this more portable. And although the other one, the True Workstation by Pioneer, is much more powerful than this. It immediately loops samples and grabs your sounds, and it's got, I don't even know if there's a limit to the number of sounds that it has, but that's for a different process. This is for DJing, right? So let's just make that clear distinction. All right. The other thing is, it's nice that this has transport mode under Serato, that you could nudge and pretty much mix music as if you would if you had your controller. But so this under Serato allows you to do that with your laptop and the XP2, and it's not going to be anywhere near what the manipulation capabilities that you have with your controllers, but it's still a nice option to have. And so I just want people who are buying this, don't get the illusion that this is a sampler. It's a sort. It triggers your samples. That's what it does. It comes really close, and it does something a little more with the slicer. So it's got a lot of capabilities, and it'll definitely keep you interested and occupied. And I talked about the effects. Rekordbox is one effect in this, and the slide effects at one time. This has 3. 1, 2, 3, and you saw that. Let me see, what else? You must have a computer. The sample mode I discussed. It's small and light, beautiful looking, fast responding. The other thing that I would say is the difference between this and, like I said, the production station that Pioneer has for DJs, the sampler, is that this has no sequencer in it. Does the software, I believe Serato and Rekordbox has like a mini internal sequencer for I guess, smaller loops, and you could trigger your, I think it triggers your hot cues in a certain way, but I don't think it has a capability of triggering your samples in the mini sequencer that it has. So I can tell you that this by itself has nothing. This just works completely off of, just like it says, off a record box and Serato. So whatever that software has is the way it's going to function. All right, so the difference between this and a workstation and a true sampler workstation that has no sequencer. So whatever you trigger, it's going to be, if you have the music playing, so that's what it's going to do. And if I trigger these, the samples, I don't want to trigger them because they're really a little louder than expected. But if you're doing that with the samples, it would be nice if it had the sequencer like the workstation does, and would just go along with the music, you know. So that's one of my gripes. But again, this is not a standalone and it's not a sampler, right? So let's see, any other gripes here? Pitch and play, I already talked about that. Transport mode is nice, but that's about all I've got. That's all I've got. This has been DJ G Roo and a review of the XP2. Thank you very much.